Are you ready to turn every conference and networking event into a powerful source of connections and referrals for your business? Welcome to Master Conference Networking. I'm Catherine Brown, founder of the Good Humans Growth Network. Here, we will unlock the strategies to build an authentic, profitable network from the events you attend. Join me and our expert guests to transform your interactions and maximize your business development. Stop feeling overwhelmed and start strategically building your best network, the Good Human way. Welcome back to Master Conference Networking. I'm Catherine Brown, and this episode will be a little bit different than some of our others. You are going to hear members of the Good Humans Growth Network community as they share how referrals have impacted their business. You'll also hear our podcast producer, Brian, as he conducts these interviews. So thank you, Brian. Stick around for some great tips on the difference between referrals and introductions, as I'll do a little bit of teaching at the end. Talk to you soon.
All right, got a guest here today with me.
Yeah, my name is Alyssa McGinn, and I'm a managing partner at InfoFluency.
So, Alyssa, tell me a favorite referral story, either one you've received or one you've given to somebody else.
So one that I received is from someone who's here with us at the conference, Lawrence Hackney. He is really good at making referrals, and he went through the whole process with me, the whole sales process. He introduced me to the client, came onto the first call with the client because he was actively working with them, joined every call, and we worked together with them for a few months. And so that stands out to me because not everyone, a lot of people send an email and then are just, you guys take it from here. Good luck. Yeah.
Right.
But he really went the extra mile.
Thank you so much for
joining
me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm here with another interview with Sasha. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your business.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I am Sasha Crabtrey with Remote COO, and we help business owners and entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders to focus on the work that they love so that we handle all of their operations, admin, and a little bit of marketing so we can help them build kind of a strong foundation. I think giving referrals really just helps you grow your network. And, by giving, you also receive. And I have received, several phone calls about wanting to know about our services or to refer someone to us. And really kind of hearing about it, I've been able to refer them to other people who might be a greater fit for what their challenges and needs are. And I think that's kind of, my greatest blessing is to be able to refer out someone or give business to someone else when I know that that's not a good fit for me. Instead of trying to make something work for my business, I know that there's others who are more skilled in that particular area.
Do you get to see that and watch that over time and how that relationship then prospers as a result of the referral you've given?
Yes, absolutely, because they will follow back up with me because they're in my network. It's not just kind of a take for them. It's like, oh my gosh, this led to this. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Here's how that's making, this is exactly what I needed or how it's making my business flourish. And for me, I'm like, check the box. Like, that's exactly what I wanted to happen. And I was glad that it was a really good fit for them.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
My name is Sarah Sears, and I have a company called S Design Incorporated, and I work with companies going through major transitions like mergers and acquisition or changes in leadership to help them get alignment and clarity around their brand and their culture and help communicate that out to their internal audiences and external audiences.
And tell me a favorite referral story that you have.
I've known Catherine for 20 years, and so I had been working with a guy named Justin McCullough, and it's just been super transformational, and he's such a good human that I just thought, you have to know Catherine. I introduced him to Catherine. I told him about the Good Humans Growth Network. I felt like he was a perfect fit. And now they're doing some big things together, and it's really exciting to see. And so that just makes my heart feel really good, getting people in the same room that I know are going to just really be able to change each other's lives for the better and support each other. So it's pretty fun.
And you get to watch that all happen, right?
Yeah. And I love it. And I'm, like Catherine, I think I'm just kind of a super connector. Like when I'm listening to people, I'm always thinking, oh, you need to know this person. It's just part of who I am. And I didn't really know that was such a superpower until I start to see things coming to fruition. And that that makes me feel really good. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.
So I'm Julia Rock, the founder and CEO at Rock Career Development, and we are a leadership consulting firm that helps organizations to retain their best talent and get the best out of them, but through leadership transformation. So speaking, coaching, training, and consulting services to close leadership gaps.
Tell me a little referral story, like something you've given, received, something fun, and how referrals has impacted your business.
Referrals have been just a godsend, honestly. I think of one story where I met someone on a podcast and we talked and connected. And then 2 years later, he referred me for a speaking engagement in New York to talk about my favorite topic, which was sports and sports leadership. So it was absolutely amazing.
It's amazing how many years later, just those connections can still
Exactly.
pay off, right?
Not that same day or year, 2 years later.
Hi, I'm Meg Rentschler. I am an executive coach and a focus on results coaching, and also the host of the Star Coach podcast. My favorite referral story is actually one that I received, and I'm oh so grateful that I did. I was doing a critical incident debrief, which is something I used to do when I was a therapist. And I got a call from one of my instructors in my coach training school. And he said, I have a client in an organization that I'm working at in Wichita, Kansas, Hawker Beechcraft. And this leader, it just isn't a good fit for me, but I think she's going to be a fantastic fit for you. And that opened the door to working 4 years with Hawker Beechcraft with so many of their leaders. But what was really special about that is he said, I've never invited another coach to work with me. And it was just this great partnership for 4 years. Not just that organization, but that was sort of the opening door to, and it was because, we met through my coach training and I invested in myself and my growth and he believed in me.
My name is Lynn Tickner. I own a creative branding and marketing agency, and we're called Ink and Key, INKANDKEY, inkandkey.com. We specialize in naming and branding. I have an 18-person naming team that would love to work with you if you need to name something, name your business, name your product, all those things. And I'm also a StoryBrand certified guide, meaning I help people get their words right.
What's been a meaningful referral experience for you?
Okay, well, it's a story since I like stories. So I met someone probably 5 years ago. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. Met this person who was kind of like a big name in the city, very successful business owner, and I myself had never gotten involved locally. So fast forward 5 years, I met this person again because I decided last summer, I'm going to get myself involved locally. I opened up a new story loop for myself and decided I'm going to go get involved locally and started showing up to networking events, and I ran into this person that I'd met several years ago. And reintroduced myself. We took pictures together. I posted pictures of myself and her on LinkedIn. And several weeks later, she invited me to come and speak to her group. She runs a group of women business owners. So she asked me to speak to her group along with someone else who I really respect, the president of a big marketing firm in Columbia. So we got to speak, and it went really, really well. And at the same time, so this is kind of like one thing leads to the next, right? So at the same time, because of my efforts to get involved locally, I decided, okay, I'm going to join the Columbia Chamber, which people said, oh, you shouldn't join the Columbia Chamber. It's too big. It's really too hard to get involved. But I was like, all right, let's just see. And spoke to one of the people that's in charge of networking there. And after several emails, she got on a call with me. And I just said what I always say, hey, how can I help? I'm here to serve. I can do some workshops that could be helpful to business owners. She basically said, we'll keep you in mind. And I met her again in January, asked again, hey, I'm happy to present a workshop. Kind of got our schedule is full. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of there's a happy ending to the story. So then another week or two went by, and she invited me to be on the committee that makes the decisions for the chamber events. I showed up to the committee, and they said, we don't have a speaker for April. And so I was like, I can help. And someone was there who had heard me speak and gave a good word and said, hey, this was great. And I thought I had it. The next day, I got an email that was like, hey, we'll keep you in mind. So,
Whoa.
the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, right? So I got disappointed. But then, literally yesterday, the day before I came to this conference, the Columbia Chamber person emailed me and asked, would I speak with this other person that I spoke with before, the president of another marketing company. And long story short, I am now speaking to the Columbia Chamber in April. And so
That's exciting.
meeting this one person 5 years ago and re-meeting has led to this big opportunity for me.
So let me ask, the person who vouched for you
Yeah.
in that meeting, were they at the previous presentation that you had done?
Yes.
So all of that overtime, ups and downs,
Yeah.
now leading to this
One
next
thing
opportunity.
leads to the next,
One
to the next, to
person-
the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So, I don't know. My whole piece of advice now that I'm giving to people, if anybody asks, is just show up to serve and meet as many people as you can and offer to be helpful. I mean, that's what I learned from Catherine Brown, the queen of referrals. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
my pleasure.
I'm here with our next guest. Would you introduce yourself? Tell
Of
us a
course,
little bit
Justin McCullough, Rocket Lead. That's the name of my company. Been in business 2 years, and it has been an incredible experience of serving others.
Awesome. Tell me your favorite referral story.
Oh, I've got a good one. So this is, if you could think of referral in the concept of a chain of events.
Okay.
Okay? So
Let's go.
I was talking to a young lady. Turns out we go to church together, and she's telling me a little bit about what's going on in her business. And I said, hey, I do these workshops, and I help folks who are a little stuck trying to figure out what they want to do next. Why don't we just talk about it? And there was some hemming and like, I don't know that I need that, and pressed on it. And finally she said yes. So we got together, we did a 3-hour whiteboard session, and I love sticky notes and Sharpie markers and all that, right? and I have a process, I call it the 4 core questions. And so everybody starts with the 4 core questions. So we break out the 4 core questions and really very quickly start to develop momentum in understanding where the blockers are, where the opportunity is. Well, let me just fast forward because she's been a huge client. We've been working together for 1.5 years. But through this one conversation, really in passing and doing one whiteboarding session, this one person has brought me 3 different clients.
Oh, wow.
And behind that, the people that have been referred from her have also referred. So it's like this, what's the thing where it just branches out like a lightning bolt, like an exponential ripple or whatever?
Right.
And from a solopreneur, maybe 1 or 2 people on staff, and she's just an incredible person, and she's so generous, tells everybody she knows about me. And then I've been fortunate enough that those people are such high quality people, they also tell others about me. And so from her, I would say 6, 7 clients.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible.
From one whiteboard session.
One whiteboard session.
One whiteboard session.
Yep, that's exactly right.
That's awesome.
And at that time, I just said, why don't we just do this, and then you can see if we ought to work together.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, we don't even need to figure out if you need to be a client. Let me just try to help you. Let's start there. And it's been incredible. And one of her very good friends who is now a client, she's been a huge success story, who's a nurse practitioner. She went out of town, met somebody else that's a physical therapist, and she came back and she's like, Justin, I met this great person. She's a PT in Jersey. She's a real Jersey girl. You're going to love her. I told her she's got to work with you. And I said, she doesn't have a choice. She has to call you by the end of the week. So I don't know when she's going to call you, but she's going to call you. And she's been an excellent client too. So
that's awesome.
I have some wonderful people who have advocated for me, but I'll tell you, people who think that referral marketing or referrals isn't a good way to build your business because you need to be doing marketing. Cold marketing doesn't work for me, but referrals, talking to people, being relational, being connected, it's the best way to do it. And so as a result, though, I try to refer as many people as I can because why not? It's a better way.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
So that was wonderful. I love to hear stories of how people make a difference in each other's business. And this is why we love referrals so much in the Good Humans Growth Network. Now, speaking of referrals, let's talk for a minute about the term referral and the term introduction. I want to start out this section by saying that I understand that there are different ways that people use these terms. And I'm not even arguing that I'm right. I'm arguing that you have to pick what you want to work toward and stick with the word that you pick. So what I mean by that is, in my world, an introduction is not as helpful as a referral. Now, you might reverse these. That's fine. This is what I mean when I say an introduction. So you receive this message, and the message goes something along the lines of, person A, this is person B. I think you should connect. When I was talking with them, I thought of you. Have fun. Now, being a little bit facetious, but that is in general what the messages can sound like. They're not that helpful. You don't really know why you're supposed to talk. And it's not teed up very well as compared to a great referral. What I would call a great qualified referral is when someone who is a trusted advisor to a buyer, could be the owner of a company, it could be a C-level executive, it could be a director level executive, whoever is their buyer, that buyer listens to your friend. That buyer has a relationship with your friend. And your friend, who is your referral partner, has learned to qualify for you. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about things like, do they have a sense of urgency and timing? This is a real need that the client has shared, and they have an opportunity as your friend to say, I know someone just for that. May I introduce you to this person? Now, I'm using the word introduce there. What I want you to notice is that we're talking about understanding that this is a sales lead and not a marketing lead. They also, if it's a well-qualified referral, will probably be able to understand if the person can afford you. And so there's a little bit of selling for you that's happening because that referral partner has learned how to listen for what is a good opportunity for you. So when they say, you should meet my friend Catherine, I think she can help you. What we've learned in the Good Humans Growth Network is the chances of closing that work with a qualified referral, like what I just described, is 50 to 90% likely to close. 50 to 90%. In fact, there's often not any competition because your referral friend is a trusted advisor of that buyer. They're going to them or expressing their problems so that they don't have to shop around. They're just saying, would you solve this for me? So there's a range of introductions that can be better or not better. There's a range of more or less qualified referrals. In general, I want you to understand those two categories and understand that all of our goal is a more qualified referral, which happens when you learn to listen for one another and you understand how to describe the people in your network. We'll have more about that in upcoming episodes. Thanks so much for listening to this one. Would you please leave a review on the platform where you found me, and we'll see you next time.